the Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Everywhere you go, your manners are with you, and they leave their mark. They help you feel sure of yourself, too, and they make an impression on people.
Demonstrators wreaked havoc in Washington, D.C. and destroyed storefront windows.
It takes them 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation.
Make political commitments to curb population growth.
We didn't simulate this. We didn't practice.
What the hell do they let the reporters in there for?
MK Ultra.
8 million adults are affected by it.
Don't try it.
There will be no outcome that leaves Saddam Hussein in power.
A brand new group called ISIL.
We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
The one person who wasn't random was the security guard.
America was founded as a constitutional republic.
Kick the incumbents out. Send citizens to Washington.
I will totally obliterate the deep state. We will obliterate the deep state.
Science proves that a healthy immune system is the body's first defense against the smallest of ailments to the most catastrophic. Coriolus versicolor is the most sought-after, all-natural supplement for both humans and pets to help boost the immune system. There are over 400 studies worldwide on its effectiveness in humans, including Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, MD Anderson Cancer Center, and now from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine. Together, we can help reverse this terrible tide now plaguing your loved ones and give them the immune-boosting supplements that they need.
Welcome, everybody, to Altered States, your favorite Wednesday landing place. And we are ready to have quite the political discussion.
So, Brad, what happened to your microphone?
Oh, is that
it's still coming through like your monitor or something.
Oh shit! Gotcha. You got yourself on your toes, Zach. That's a little test. All
I
right.
just thought maybe like it broke or something like that.
I just see that I have to reset it.
Okay, no problem. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a lovely day. And let me just real quickly hit the like button. You can do that too. It's an easy, free way to show the algorithm and the people over there on Rumble that you guys like this program. You can also hit the red pill over on Pilled. I'm also going to share this to my own Rumble page through the repost feature, which is also something you guys can do as well. I can already tell, Brad, there is a marked difference in the tone and tenor of your voice. Now I'm also sharing it to X and to Truth Social through the embedded share feature on Rumble on their homepage. Right there. Boom. There we go.
These are all things I need to do.
Oh, my God.
I'll do it during the next when we play the next video.
Yeah, now you sound
professional, Zach.
You sound like a real studio professional now, Brad. And
so I shouldn't be going through my camera.
No, I shouldn't be going through your camera or whatever the hell else it was. I was broadcasting on a potato, and then I realized that everybody could hear the spuds coming through. So
keep you guys on your toes.
All right. So yeah, hope everybody's doing well. Brad, how have you been? Have you had a good week?
Good week, and just been doing a lot of work outside. Actually, been on and off sick. My stomach's been bothering me. I don't know if I caught a stomach bug or what, but I feel okay now. It's been kind of on and off. So other than that, been doing good, man, and I've been enjoying the show. I have what I'd say is probably my favorite 90 seconds of Trump monologue. That is.
Oh yes.
Happens because it's been it. Maybe
this is great. This is absolutely great. You combine this with like the statement that he put on Truth Social leading up to it, like over the weekend, about how he just, we're done. We're not letting anybody else in. We're going to kick all of them out. And then he just goes hard on the Somalis. And it's like one of the most based things I've ever heard anybody say.
Yeah, this is amazing.
And they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell and they complain and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, more of that, man.
We're done. We're done. I'm the captain now.
Some people are like, that's terrible. All right, go on vacation to Somalia then.
Yeah, bro.
It's such a wonderful place.
Tell me how that works out for you. I mean, you know, the truth of the matter is nobody goes on vacation to Somalia because it's a war-torn shithole. And the thing about Ilhan Omar and her clan coming here and bitching and complaining and trying to transform the nation, you know, it would be different if Ilhan Omar had come here and she was escaping political persecution in Somalia, but she was part of the ruling junta. Okay. I mean, like it was her family that was persecuting Somalians for decades. And so she wasn't escaping persecution. She was escaping justice. And she came here and she was an entitled, spoiled little bitch. She expected to be taken care of. She had to live in a refugee camp for a period of time. She gets to the United States, and I'm sure she was probably pretty pissed off that the CIA stopped supporting their junta of choice in Somalia, and the people were able to take the nation back. It obviously hasn't gone super well for them in the meantime, but the Somalians came here, and they were extremely successful because they already had a criminal mind. They were all ready to figure out how they could go ahead and grift off of everything. And, you know, Bill Clinton moved all those Somalians to Minnesota because they had no Democrat voting bloc. It was a solid Republican state, and they needed to have people in a big city. And so they said, okay, well, we'll have them come here. They'll vote Democrat, and we'll control everything in the future. And of course, the Somalians, as unfortunately Native Africans so often do, they figured out how they could best skim and grift and take advantage of the system, and they've done it. They have created an art out of it. You have to respect it to a certain degree, Brad. I mean, it's like, you know, you look at a well-oiled Dago mafia that's been set up. Like, they're running trash collection. They're doing all the concrete pouring. They're providing protection for every shop on the block. And it only costs you $250 a week. But hey, $250 a week is a lot better than getting your teeth kicked in or having somebody show up and rob you at gunpoint. Okay. And of course, you know, when somebody busts up your sidewalk, you're going to have to call those same people to have them fill the holes. And you're also probably going to have to call those same guys to pick up your trash. So you don't want to piss them off. All right. It sucks. Don't. It's not right, but you got to respect it. The same way the Somalians.
Let's see what Trump has to say about this.
The banks, you don't mind. The cement guys, they can be a little bit tougher.
See, Trump knows what he's talking about. Yeah, he's dealt with them. He's talked about it before. You know, I mean, like, this is actually a complaint that I've heard from a couple of different people about Trump's time in Atlantic City. I actually wanted to get your thoughts on this. So when he had the Trump Taj Mahal built in Atlantic City, allegedly there were a bunch of contractors who got the shaft. Like at some point, Trump had to file for bankruptcy or whatever, like during this time. And and because he was trying to like beat the clock on the bankruptcy, he was trying to get the Taj Mahal open. And so he was having people do work. And then he was like, I'm going to have to pay you a little bit later. And it seemed like, there was some maneuvering of cash that was going on. Well, allegedly, a whole bunch of people got screwed, and people in Atlantic City like don't like Trump as a result of that. But I was thinking about it, and like, what if he was not paying the mafia-owned businesses? That would be one thing. But the complaint that I hear is that like small business owners are the ones who got the shaft.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about the Atlantic City story. I know he had one casino that did good and one that did bad, but just general, that's all I kind of know about it. I know in New York, in Manhattan, everyone loved Trump jobs. Everyone got paid on time, and usually that trickles down from the builder to the GC, and then the GC will pay us. So it's, I don't know, everyone loved the Trump jobs in the city. As far as Atlantic City, I can't really speak to that, but yeah, so, that sounds like it.
Yeah, I was because I thought the same thing. Like everybody in New York loved Trump. Trump obviously had a lot of business there. Everybody, in one way or another was touched by the Trump empire. And you don't hear complaints like that. Now, I can't say that I know anyone personally from Atlantic City that was harmed as a result of this, but I just know that it's the prevailing narrative coming out of New Jersey that Trump had screwed people over with the Taj Mahal. And so I had somebody reach out to me, and they were like, I have these friends and they don't like Trump because of this issue that he had with contractors. And I went and looked it up, and sure enough, I found a couple of articles about it. But what are you going to find about some random, brass railing guy in Atlantic City, or, some, random concrete guy? Not really going to find anything other than what they're talking about in the mainstream media article. And that could have easily been an operation too.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard. Well, I always feel like 2015 was like a demarcation line where everything past that is very iffy, because they just started cooking so many different articles, and then as they get back, they're a little better. Obviously, they have been doing it for a long time, but yeah, I'd be interested to see what we could find on that. And no one's perfect. Atlantic City is known for being kind of shady in general, so who knows? There could have been a lot of shade going all around that kind of in the end got heaped on his head. But all I can say is in New York City, those were the best jobs ever. Your stamps came on time, everything came on time. So
I do have a special announcement. Today is Chi-Chi's birthday.
Hey, Chi-Chi.
He is officially 17 years old today.
17. Wow. God bless, dude. That's really good for a dog. Well, the little dogs do live a little longer than bigger dogs, but they still, man.
They definitely do. Yeah. So happy birthday, Cisco. You're a good man. Oh, man. So, it's interesting when you look around the country and you see like these different enclaves of, who's done what and how things have gone bad. And, like the caliber of criminal that came in with the Italians. Sure, there was some violence.
I see a theme here.
Yeah. But they organized. Right. They're
just very patriotic, believe it or not.
They're very patriotic. Yeah. First of all, God bless America. They gave us this opportunity to come here and own waste disposal businesses and stuff. But they organized it, right? They created a business. And I can't say that they did it very differently from like the robber barons of the early 20th century. It was all kind of the same thing, just a little bit, lower on the scale. And of course, it spreads out. We're not supporting like the murders, right. Or any of the other stuff. But like generally speaking, they didn't touch drugs. They didn't abuse women. It was like, you're sort of like everyday process crimes, like the things everybody's got to get their trash cleaned. So we'll own a trash company. Everybody's got to have construction. So we'll own a construction company. Okay, cool. I can see it. But then you've got these new waves of immigrants that come in, all right? Like the Somalians, all right? So what do? Oh, let's figure out what the government would be willing to pay out on. And we don't even have to provide the services. Like, we'll just bill the federal government because we know that bureaucracy breeds incompetence because it's so big. Nobody is even going to have the wherewithal to check about it. Now, I love it that President Trump called Ilhan Omar garbage in that clip there. I think that he was absolutely dead on about Somalia, about Somalians. These people don't want to assimilate. All right. This is like the definition of invaders, conquerors, right? Because an immigrant comes to another country and they become part of the fabric of that country. They learn the language. They learn the customs. They become part of the community. All right. Maybe they intermarry. Maybe they meet a nice white girl and they go ahead and get married and then they get a career and they do something giving back to the community. But Somalians, they come here. They live in packs. They don't learn the language. They marry their brothers. And if they don't marry their brothers, they marry their cousins. All right. And that has produced a lower quality of genetic stock. A lot of people say that Somalians can be weird looking. I'll be really honest. I think that Somalian women can be rather beautiful. Some of their features I think are striking, unique in ways that you're not going to see in other parts of the world. It's the Somalian men that are not particularly good looking. Like when you think about what we said earlier, I'm the captain now guy, the guy from Captain Phillip.
Right, yeah.
They've got this characteristic look to them. Like their heads are crazy, their eyes are bugging, their teeth are sticking out. And that's, I think, largely because of the genetic inbreeding that they've been engaged in. What is shocking to me is that despite that inbreeding and despite the average lower IQ as a result, they are still so successful with the fraud and the grift. They have evolved. They have evolved for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to take advantage of other people. What is that about?
That, you know what? They definitely got down to a science. And I will say, we're just talking about immigrants in general. And, for the Italian immigrants, I can speak to this. I grew up in those communities. Obviously, my grandparents were them. There's a very patriotic, this is America. They were coming here to love this place and to start a new life. My grandfather used to be a thing with my dad was one of 9. So they didn't have a lot, obviously. You have 9 kids. Sure.
My dad was the oldest of 8. So yeah.
And that's pretty much it, right? Yeah. But whenever there's something nice would happen or it gets something nice, my grandfather's catchphrase was always like, you like America, huh? You're basically saying hey, this place is good. Don't take it for granted. And they didn't even teach. My aunts and uncles lament that they never taught them Sicilian. Basically, they just wanted to talk in front of them and not have it done. But they were very much like, this is America. You learn English and you become a part of America. And that's all throughout New York, New Jersey area. If you look, some of the most outspoken, right now, they'd be Trump supporters, but in general, conservatives are from the Italian American communities. And it's just because they very much, one, have conservative roots, but two, very much love the country. And a lot of immigrants now, that's the problem. They're not doing that. Even the ones, well, no, I shouldn't say it. A lot of legal ones are doing it for that reason, but a lot of the illegal ones are not. And then a lot of these Somali communities, they don't seem to be doing that either. And is talking about getting their crime down. This is a doozy that's just come out here with the House Oversight Committee. They're talking to Walz and also Keith Ellison about this huge fraud that was going down.
And why stop there? Well, just throw Ilhan Omar into the mix because she's obviously got her own troubles. But I mean, Keith Ellison and Tim Walz, they were directly aware of all of the fraud that was going on. No doubt.
And the way they kind of put it says at best they turned a blind eye, at worst they were actually involved and into it. It says the committee has serious concerns about how U.S. governors, this is to Tim Walz, and Democrat-controlled administration allowed millions of dollars to be stolen. This is what Comer said in his letter to Walz. Says the committee has concerns that you and the administration were fully aware of this fraud and chose not to act for fear of political retaliation. The committee therefore requests documents and communications showing what your administration knew about the fraud and whether you took action to limit or halt the investigation into the widespread fraud. Now, I think they had like over 200 million. Yeah, here we go. So it earned national attention and widespread fraud. It took advantage of the state's social services program, mostly by the large Somali community. Federal prosecutors charged dozens of people for their alleged involvement in the fraud, including the theft of over $240 million in federal child nutrition program funds from the Minnesota-based Feeding Our Future nonprofit group, an organization designed to feed children during the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, we're seeing a lot of this coming out, things that came from COVID-19. The meals were never provided, with the funds instead allegedly being spent on luxury cars, houses, foreign companies, and real estate across country. That sounds a lot like Black Lives Matter.
It does. It does.
And Ellison got kind of a nasty. They're kind of pushing back on Ellison as if they think he actually was involved.
Oh, there's a tape that came out, which is Ellison speaking with some of the people who were being charged in the Feeding Our Future scam. And he essentially tells them, you know, hey, brothers and sisters, we got to stick together. You know, I took this job to put cops in prison for life. I didn't take this job to go after people like us. And so, you know, you just tell me your problem and I'll address it. I'm the AG. YN.
I mean, like, and honestly, too, probably sounded exactly like that. Have you heard the tape? Is that a direct? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
how he
I
talks.
paraphrase, but that was a pretty decent paraphrase.
Yeah, that really is. So far, 78 defendants have been charged. Over 55 have been convicted. And yeah, I hope this comes down right on their heads. If you guys, you know, Keith Ellison is he's a real piece of shit. If you guys remember, he was charged with beating his then girlfriend, Karen Moynihan. And so that's always nice. You know, like
whatever happened with that? I don't seem to remember anything happening to Keith Ellison for putting hands on a woman.
Yeah, of course not. Because, you know, but we're the misogynist. This is a doozy. If you guys remember, actually, you know, let me play this first. This is him just recently.
Because if there really is no Antifa as an institution organization, then anybody who's associated with Antifa-like ideas, you know, can be persecuted. All you have to do is say, prove you're not Antifa. Well, how can you prove a negative? And suddenly they're just going to be able to use that to justify suppressing speech, arresting people, deploying ICE, deploying National Guard, deploying military. So the fact that there is no, I mean, nobody even knows what it is. The first person I ever heard use the word Antifa was Donald J. Trump.
So nobody knows what Antifa is, well, except for him back in 2018.
Yeah.
And holding up the Antifa, the anti-fascist handbook. And I don't know. He's just like, I can't believe he's an attorney general.
I know. It's kind of incredible, really, at the end of the day. So here I do actually have a response from Ilhan Omar. Let me get this pulled up because this is her responding to President Trump calling her garbage. Okay. So let me share my screen here.
He says, "Oh, thank you, Trump. I love it when you talk dirty to me."
Mr. Trump. Okay.
Make sure the wife is still alive. That's good.
Okay.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and homophobic. We know that he called
all the words
in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after Black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a Black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
I agree. I love the tweet.
I love it. I love it. And here's the
Must
thing.
be cold in there.
Yeah, it's nothing like Somalia. So I don't know how many of those people just chose to go to chose to go to Minnesota. If Ilhan Omar is found through an official investigation by the federal government to have committed immigration fraud, then she can be stripped of her naturalization and she can be sent back to Somalia. Now, in my opinion, that would be the best possible solution. I think that that's what the government should strive to do. I think that regardless of who you are, what position you hold, where you live in society, what color you are, I don't care, white, black, brown, green, yellow, or otherwise, if you are a subversive that is working to undermine the constitutional republic, then you don't deserve to live here. Now, one thing she said, they're complaining, you said she hit all the words, right? It's all the blacks and the Islamists and all that, blah, blah, blah.
She's good. She got them down, man.
She did.
She had like 5 of them in a row.
So this is another aspect of immigrants from the turn of the 20th century that are very different from immigrants that are coming here now. Those Italians, those Irish, the Europeans, they were foundational in faith. Okay. They were Christians. They were Catholics. Yeah. They had a similar, if not identical, morality and ethical framework for the way they saw the world and for the way that people were meant to be treated. Now, the people coming in today tend to be Islamic. They tend to be completely antithetical to the foundational principles that were what America was founded upon. And that's one of the reasons that they don't integrate, because they don't want to. They want to conquer. They want to change the United States of America to make it more like where they came from. That's not part of the program. And all of those people need to go as well. Now, so Harry says Trump is all talk. No one in Congress will ever be arrested for treason. Okay, well, we have to prove that somebody has committed treason in order to be arrested for treason. I don't want President Trump just going and commanding that people get arrested without an adequate investigation having been done. Although right now there are 2 grand juries down here in the Southern District of Florida that are actively investigating the decade-long overarching conspiracy that specifically targeted President Trump, the American people, worked to undermine the wishes of the electorate, and so on and so forth. So never say never, all right? We have to actually get there. I think a lot of people are spoiled by a corrupt system that selects an individual for the crime before an investigation has been done or before a crime has even been committed. And people are used to seeing an overzealous judicial system select someone to take down rather than how it's supposed to work. There's supposed to be an investigation. There's supposed to be a grand jury that's convened. There's supposed to be a presentation of evidence. There's supposed to be an impeachable process that is used to find someone guilty and to put them in prison if that's where they're supposed to go. There is also, so Trump is all talk. Well, we just shut down immigration from 19 countries, 100%, full stop.
He's doing a lot of stuff. He's not necessarily doing the nth degree, some of the nth degree things that people want. I think there's a lot of people who actually want him to go dictator, but it's like he actually isn't a dictator. That's why we can push back on those claims. But
hold on. Harry says there is enough proof. Now, I believe there may have been enough proof. But I guess I don't work at the DOJ, Harry. So maybe you know more than I do. But I've seen a lot of stuff online. But unfortunately, you can't just use that as evidence in a court of law. And that's really unfortunate. All right. I believe that there is evidence that exists to prove that people have committed treason. But again, we're not at the end of the road yet. And so I'm not willing to say that, nothing will happen because, first of all, I'm not God. I'm not psychic. And the one thing that I can tell you is that after having paid attention to politics for the last 40 years, I'm almost 50 years old. I've been watching this pretty closely. And at one time, I believed that nothing ever would happen. I believed that nothing would change. It didn't matter Democrat, Republican, Green, or Libertarian. Everybody was the same. I still definitely believe that politics largely are corrupted by psychopathic narcissists, but I also can just see with my own eyes and the results that are beginning to play out that President Trump is a transformational leader, unlike anyone that has ever come before him. And there are real measurable changes that are taking place right now. Very different from anything that I've witnessed from any other administration in the past. Maybe you're older than me. You're more jaded than I am. Maybe you believe that it's, not possible. But, I would hope that at some point you will be wrong. I will be right. And more than anything, that we'll be able to save America, because that's, in my mind, what needs to happen. Now, I had a conversation earlier today, Brad, and I'd like to kick it over to you. I think that probably the most dangerous and unpredictable aspect of this is the judiciary. Okay. The legal portion of our government. Okay. Like Congress is corrupt. President Trump is controlling the executive. I think through controlling leverage on the legislative, we can influence things in a certain direction. But judges are the thing that are very dangerous because a lot of those people are appointed for life.
Yeah, this is something I really liked during Trump's first term. I haven't really looked to see how it's been going this time, but I know he quietly approved a lot of judges during his first term, and it was something that he didn't talk about. I noticed it was just one of those things that you started hearing inklings of, and then you looked into it and was like, "Oh shit, he really is." And I think that's on purpose. It's also too why, and we wouldn't talk about it too much, but I have to assume that's also happening. In fact, I'm going to look into it right after this and see if I can find anything, because it's the most important thing. Every one of these things cycles back to either a good judge or a corrupt judge. And we've seen a lot of them, and a lot of them are starting to out themselves, right? It'd be like Einhorn and different ones who are now we're starting to know their names, or the one who just is trying to where I think they did disqualify the prosecutor in the Comey case, although that case is obviously still going to be brought. But these are like people who are pushing back against justice, and it's just and it just shows that it's really hard to change something when you have bad people in the judiciary. And so I think that is the most important anything that and elections, you do a real change in those two areas and you will have your country back. All the other stuff will fall into place.
Yeah. Now,
Boasberg, that's another one.
Yep. Yeah. So Boasberg, and then there's another judge who's also being impeached at the same time. Now, here's the thing. Okay, both of Boasberg and whoever this other woman is, I can't remember her name, are refusing to participate in their own impeachment. And they're also refusing to present evidence in their own impeachment. They're also refusing to explain their rationale of their judicial decisions, which is rich, because Boasberg is demanding that the executive branch provide rationale for why people have been arrested and sent to their home countries because they're illegal aliens. It's so backwards. So as unlikely as it may be that judges get impeached and therefore removed, it is a possibility. Now, Boasberg is more possible than anybody else because he was involved in the non-disclosed spying of members of Congress with Jack Smith's Arctic Frost investigation. Arctic Frost, Jack Smith, rather, will be testifying in relation to Arctic Frost on December 17th, behind closed doors. But that doesn't mean we're not going to see it. It just means that he's going to be under oath, which is actually a good thing, because if Jack Smith lies, then obviously that's just another thing that they can charge him for. But Jack Smith also has to provide all of his communications with Biden, with Letitia James, with Fannie Willis, with Merrick Garland. I mean, everything related to the Arctic Frost investigation, up to and including his communications, which led to him spying on Congress. So, there's another thing that is coming up. From my perspective,
Deborah Boardman?
Deborah Boardman. Boardman. Yeah.
I was trying to find it, but it was kind of unclear.
So, so Harry says, my dad was Bob Dole's campaign manager in 1963. I've been in those smoke-filled rooms, and I know how the game is played. I'm not saying you're wrong. I mean, that's one of the things that I definitely have a problem with when it comes to politics. I just don't believe that President Trump is a politician. I think that President Trump is something completely different, which is what gives me the faith in his ability, and even, the drive that he has to change things. Let me ask you this, Harry. Is Harry Tuttle your real name, or are you a fan of the movie Brazil? Because there's a character named Harry Tuttle in Brazil, and it's kind of like a dystopian hellhole film. It's a great movie, but I think that, it would be totally appropriate if that was why you named yourself Harry Tuttle. But yeah, so I mean, like, obviously politics are dirty, like so dirty that it makes me want to take a shower a lot of the times when we're talking about these people. Most everybody is fake. The people that they portray on television, yes, it is Brazil. Okay, yes. You are also a fan of Brazil. Good stuff, man. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But these people play a character on TV, and they are somebody completely different behind the scenes. When it comes to Congress, I think that the only language that they understand oftentimes is going to be leverage. Now, whether that's blackmail leverage, which, to be perfectly honest, I have no problem if that is used to control the actions of these people and get certain things done. In other instances, I think maybe it's not necessary. I also think that these individuals in Congress could potentially be set free to do the right thing. And they may be, they may be already. But so far, although it's not perfect, the process is such that it takes a very long time. And that is frustrating. I think a lot of people think, heck, if it was me, I would have already gotten all this stuff done. President Trump has gotten a tremendous amount of stuff done. I mean, like, if just only talking about the economic aspect of it, okay? Like, just consider the economic aspect. Joe Biden, I think we said this on last week's show, Joe Biden brought in like $1 trillion in economic development in 4 years. All right. Donald Trump has brought in 21 trillion in 10 months. Like, that alone is transformative. Okay. And the impact of that is still yet to be felt because it's still rolling in.
And you get to see the impact of how real it is versus how fake it was with Biden. It just came out. I think this week was the 9th meeting with cabinet members, 9th cabinet member meeting, and Biden had 9 throughout his whole 4 years.
Yeah.
This is the 9th one in 10 months. And it just shows that he really does how he can do every last thing with everything going on. But he really does have his finger on the pulse with all the stuff that is happening with all the different departments. There were some cool things discussed. They're talking about, who was it? One of them was talking about transferring over from copper to fiber optics, things like that. They said the Biden administration said it was going to take 10 years, and they already are a third done in 10 months of transferring this all over. And just they talked a little bit about stuff Hegseth's going through, but I like that they have Hegseth's back, or I guess he didn't even make that decision, right? Admiral Bradley did. But stuff like that is above and beyond. So everyone's asking for above and beyond what Trump is doing. is above and beyond. And I fully support what's going on with these narco terrorists. This is why we closed down the border. And now they were always going by the seas, but now they're obviously amping up this, trying to use the waterways to come in, and they're getting their asses blown up. So it's like, don't do the crime, and you won't get arrested, you won't get blown up, you won't get anything. You'll be totally free of consequences if you don't do this. This was kind of my argument I felt with the Michael Brown stuff, right? And they were like, well, was he grabbing for the gun? Was he grabbing for the gun? It was all this different stuff. And it was like, hold up a second. How about he doesn't rob that store? And then there's no conversation to be had, or, Freddie Gray, don't be a crack dealer or any of these things.
Yep.
Don't put yourself in these positions. It's unfortunately, I think it even goes for, you don't have to agree with me, but with the young lady who was unfortunately shot, I think wrongfully shot during January 6th.
Yep. And
she was climbing through a locked door window into the Capitol. I mean, it's just, I think it was a poor choice. And I think there's 100 ways that could have been handled without this guy shooting her. He wanted to shoot her because he's a piece of shit.
Absolutely.
But nevertheless, it's like, man, stop putting yourself in these positions. Kid, don't do that. And you won't even have to have the debate on these subjects. But they're transferring drugs. And what is it like? They blew it up and then one or two of them survived. Well, if they didn't survive, it's okay. But since they did survive and then got round two, now that's some sort of war crime. Why don't you guys work about cleaning up crime in your own districts? What the fuck?
It's such a ruse, okay? Because in Obama's third day in office, he started calling in drone strikes on civilians, okay? Like immediately. In 2021, Biden drone struck a group of 7 children, 2 adults, and a goat, okay? Totally innocent people, not terrorists. Barack Obama was calling in drone strikes on civilians. Nobody said boo. Nobody cared, all right? Now,
he drone more people than anyone.
Exactly.
In office. Yeah.
The goal here is to create the next impeachment hoax. Okay. So they want to say that Hegseth is a war criminal. Trump is a war criminal. If they can get people to believe this, they get enough sentiment together, they impeach him once again, totally fucking wasted, but it's not going to happen. They're not gonna be able to do it. All they can do is try to influence public sentiment about it. Now, here's another thing. Look at this clip. So this guy, he's Jack Reed. He's a Democrat, and he was interviewed about these narco boat explosions, and he said that these people are not narco terrorists. They're not even drug dealers. They're just people trying to make money. Okay, now your average corner boy is just trying to make money too, but he's selling dope to do it. All right, now here's the thing. It won't be possible for corner boys to exist, shooting each other for territory or turning young mothers into crack addicts if they don't have the drugs to process and then sell on the streets. And with President Trump bringing back $21 trillion in production and manufacturing investment to the United States, that is opening the American job market to create opportunities for people that previously didn't exist. I mean, if you go back far enough, even in the most like slummiest areas of the slummiest cities, like New York, okay, that was a shithole back in the day. You've seen gangs in New York, all right? People living in shacks, shitting in a pot out behind, 12 houses with one pot to shit in, people sleeping in just absolute disgusting conditions, no running water, and yet they still found a way to work. Okay, they all found jobs and they were able to do things. Now, once they took the manufacturing away from the United States, you had plenty of shitty places to live. You had plenty of places that you could go to exist in squalor, but there was no opportunity. So then people turn to the next opportunity. And of course, around that same time, they were providing drugs for the people of the United States. There you go. Now you've got your next opportunity. So they're perfectly fine turning people into drug addicts because there is no other way for people to make money, or there's no reasonable way because people are living in these economically depressed areas with no investment, with no production, with no manufacturing, certainly because there's no money, there's not going to be the same opportunities for people to, even be, getting a casual job because nobody there has any money to spend. So everything is changing. Like, this is going to fundamentally change the fabric and the landscape of the United States. But let me play this clip of Mr. Jack Reed, who essentially is saying that we shouldn't blow up these narco boats because these are just baby daddies.
One of the factors that drives youth in the United States is demand. And most narco traffickers are not in those boats. They pay people to do that. And usually people who are not significantly involved with narco trading, it's the way they make money.
Okay, so it's definitely a way they make money, but they are part of the same narco trafficking rat line. And if it wasn't for the people who are hired to drive the boats to get the cocaine to the United States of America, the cocaine wouldn't be getting here. So I don't care if they're not actively producing the cocaine. I don't care if they're not the guys out there picking the coca leaves. I don't care if they're not the guys that are bundling it up into baggies. Like, they are all part of the same network. It is a criminal enterprise. This is the type of thing that RICO was made for. But the problem is that handling it in the way that Jack Reed is suggesting, as we have for years, allowing the drugs to get here and then choosing to do something about it, that has created generations of addiction here in the United States, which creates generations of poverty, which creates generations of pain, which creates generations of fucked up people who then do fucked up things to their kids and then make those kids fucked up so that the pain continues. You're muted.
You and I are both people who grew up around drug use and in and around people who really got away from them.
Yeah.
And it just brings nothing but pain. And it happens so fast. And most times these are good, normal people who just went down the wrong path, and now it's out of control. And people like these smugglers are providing. This is literally, they're saying, "Oh, you gotta cut it off at the pass, or you have to get at the root of it." I'm sorry, this root of it. This is as far back as it goes. When they're talking about the war on drugs back in the day, I'm someone that was arrested at 20 years old for a couple 20 bags of weed, and that like screwed my life up for years. For a couple 20 bags of marijuana, something that's actually legal in New Jersey now.
Yep.
And this is what they were doing. They were getting like high school kids just out of high school, and then they get them and they hit you with court fines, and everyone gets paid and the court gets paid and you're on probation. And then you flip on another guy selling dime bags, which I actually didn't do, so it was actually a little harder on me. But for the most part, the cycle, whoever gave them to me, it's just this like petty just harassment really of American citizens.
Yep.
Well, now they're saying, well, no, they're not going to go after these little guys, or I'm sure it's still illegal for drugs that are illegal, but they're going right to the source. And this is what's supposed to be. Go to the top dog, cut that off, it all freaking gets cut off. And this is just shows that Trump is for real.
100%. Because the people who are complaining about these narco boats getting blown up are the people who are profiting from those drugs coming into the United States of America. Whether they're a congressman who owns a treatment facility, or maybe they're getting a payoff because the drugs are being brought in through their district. I jokingly said earlier today, why Rand Paul is upset about it? Because cocaine goes great with Kentucky bourbon. I don't know if that's the case. That's allegedly in my opinion. But yeah, I think that this is all about preserving the criminal enterprise. That criminal enterprise extends far beyond Venezuela, Colombia, Honduras, the South and Central America. It goes all the way up through Mexico and into the United States of America. All right. I have seen lots of cocaine up in Michigan. All right. It doesn't just stop at the southern border. It goes everywhere. I mean, people have an appetite for drugs. And if there's an appetite for drugs, the drugs are going to be there. Somebody is going to find a way to get them there. And somebody is going to sell them. And somebody is going to die. All right. Somebody is going to get hurt. You know, you may have somebody who, you know, hey, I'm just trying to make a little bit of scratch so that I can go to school or so that I can pay my mom's bills. Okay, well, you know, if you end up getting shot on the street because somebody wants your territory, like you are now a statistic. Like you said, Brad, make the right decision. Don't choose to get involved in that. But when that is the only choice that is presented to people in certain areas, can't tell you how many times I've heard black youth say that, you know, oh, that's all that there is for us. There's nothing else. There's no jobs. Yeah, you ever watch The Wire?
No, I know enough about it to know. Yeah, but
yeah. So yeah, Freya, the Trump sucks. The price of Coke is up 200%. Yeah. I mean, it probably is. You know, but I mean, like, get your shit together, guys. You know, people don't need to be doing Coke. There's a lot of other things that you can be doing with your life. You, if people out there, and I'm sure there's plenty of them on the left, and there's even probably plenty of them on the right, who are not happy about the fact that Trump is doing this. I applaud it. This is exactly what I voted for. The drugs have been allowed to come into the United States. They have been facilitated by our own intelligence community. The money from those drugs has been funding black operations. It's been funding trafficking rat lines. It's been funding off books, not official covers. It's been going into trust funds that accumulate funds so that they can then be passed out to be used for people traveling around the world. They're used to pay off politicians. They're used to fund projects. They're used to give people money for down payments on businesses. I mean, all of it feeds directly into the American economy. And Maduro was totally right. You know, I mean, there is a shit ton of money from the drug trade that is in American banks, and that's nothing new. All right. Go back to George H.W. Bush. All right. You go back to Iran-Contra. Yeah, dude. There's nothing new here. Nothing new under the sun. Go back a little bit further, and you got the CIA running heroin so that they can do operations in Laos during Vietnam. Go back a little bit further. I wonder what we were selling to go into Korea. You know, I mean, like, it just continues back.
And what about, you know, the CIA dousing people with LSD and doing freaking experiments on them? I mean,
yeah, there's a reason that they want us to do drugs. Okay. Yeah. Because you're easier to control when your mind is weak.
Yep. That's why Britain spread opium all over China.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, a lot of what's been happening was actually predicted by a Canadian children's book. You see, they're all up in arms over this too. I love it. I love that we have like the Secretary of Defense or Secretary of War just posting fucking Franklin memes.
That's so funny.
Hey, go for it. Why not? You know what? This is the way. It's funny because I know, like we were saying in chat, right? There's some people there for specific things. They wish Trump is going further, and the Trump administration is totally going outside of the realm of what has been normal. And we was on a normal basis in the first administration, right? He went way outside the realm with legislature and cutting regulations and all this cool stuff. Now he's doing all that stuff. And then they're also saying, you know what? You want to bring drugs into our country? You are now at war with our country, and we're going to take you out. So,
yeah. You know, another thing President Trump said in that cabinet meeting was that we're about to start doing operations on land. They have reduced the narco trafficking in the Caribbean by 91%. Okay. What's funny, Rand Paul posted, you know, when before we did the strikes, 21% of the boats that would be intercepted by the Coast Guard would not have any cocaine on them, which means that 79% of the boats that the Coast Guard would stop would have cocaine on them. Okay. You know, it's a very different number when you turn it around the other way. So the 21, now, obviously those boats that don't have any cocaine on them, you're not going to have anything in the hull except for like the guys with maybe like their fishing poles and stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, your average Venezuelan fisher are not going to have 4 outboard rocket-propelled motors on there.
Right, yeah.
They're not going to be going 90 miles an hour over the surf in the Caribbean Sea out in the middle of nowhere. You're not going to be going out into the middle of the Caribbean to fish, when if you're a Venezuelan fisherman, you're going to stay pretty close to the shore. You know, maybe you're going to have a boat, you're going to go out a little bit further, but you know, at a certain point, it doesn't make any sense. Like you're 100% not going to have 4 outboard motors.
Right. And Smay 60 is nails it because they were the decoys. Most likely.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, I'm sure a huge percentage of that 21% were also there. Literally, you just create a fog of war decoy situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So totally ridiculous that these people are attempting to justify it. All right. Because what they are justifying at the end of the day is the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Americans every single year. Yep. And now that we have stopped it, virtually stopped it coming through the Caribbean, President Trump said we're about to start doing interdiction on land. Okay. That means that not just Venezuela, not just Colombia, whatever nation you are running your drugs through to get underneath our protections at the southern border, doesn't matter where it is, we're going to start striking. And I think that is another thing that is long overdue. All right. Now, if the nations that are allowing the smuggling to go on, if they don't want us to be drone striking narco or cocaine processing plants in the middle of the jungle, well, then you guys have the opportunity to take care of them first. But as we know from decades of working with the governments of these countries, much like in the United States, it doesn't matter what political party it is, everybody can be bought. Everybody loves money. Everybody's got to buy a house. Everybody's got to drive a car. Everybody's got to go back and forth. A lot of people got to put their kids through college. A lot of people in politics especially have mistresses and they have their own drug habits. And so they're easy to buy.
Oh, yeah.
In Mexico, you've got it's a narco state at this point. Like the cartels own everything and everybody. I mean, like I would never go to Mexico. Not once. Like, you know, fuck that. Absolutely not. Would not set foot there because I know that they look for people to kidnap. They're looking for people to take advantage of. Even if you don't get kidnapped or get beheaded in Mexico, the chances of just like stumbling upon a firefight in the middle of the street are totally real. Or you might go under a bridge and find somebody with their guts hanging out and their head cut off, hanging upside down with blood dripping from the hole in their neck. I don't want to see that.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's been going on for a while there. I have a buddy who was dating a girl in Mexico, and up until about 5 years ago, and he was dating her for, I don't know, upwards of 10 years before that. And so he would go there, and it's just like, you're just at a restaurant, when someone just comes up, shows you their gun, robs you, and they're all over the place. They literally run all these towns, and Mexico has been taken over for a while by this. So it's a shame, but this is what we're trying to prevent from coming over the border. And it's been coming over the border and just doing this thing. Those southern countries are always dealing with the cartel, countries, states, you know, like Arizona and New Mexico and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's great.
So Mauser said that the war, all the talk about the war on drugs, it was just lip service. Yes. Okay. They can trot out a like, you know, a cottage arrest or like a big bust every now and then. But for every bust that you would see, there would probably be 1,000 busts that never happened. And you would have many, many millions of dollars that would be, you know, coming into this country through the drug trade, and many more shipments of illicit drugs that would be reaching the streets. The supply never stopped. The war on drugs was always a ruse. The war on drugs.
War on the Fourth Amendment.
Yes. War on the Fourth Amendment. Yes. So they use it as an opportunity to encroach upon your rights and to make everybody feel like, well, you know, you want to be safe, don't you? It's like the argument of you don't want to get your kids shot at school, do you? So just give us your guns. You know, just, you know, be okay with the fact that we're just going to come up on your porch and arrest you for no reason, or we're going to go ahead and seize your property, seize your phone. If you've got money, if you're this is another thing that just like pisses me off. If you are traveling with money because you don't like the banks, or maybe you went and got a withdrawal because you're going to go buy a car, you're going to put a down payment on a house, and you happen to be so unlucky that you get pulled over and the police find a lot of money on you, they are going to seize it. and then they're going to give it to the DEA because they're going to seize it as the proceeds of drugs or criminal activity. And then the DEA is going to give like 25% of that back to the department that took it. And you have to prove that that money is yours. Now, if you're a person who doesn't use banks, the likelihood of you being able to prove that all of that money, is yours, and, perhaps you've been saving for a long time, good luck. You're probably just going to have that money stolen from you. Now, if you just took it out of a bank and you've got like a bill of sale that you're about to go buy a car, maybe a little bit easier to get out of there. But civil asset forfeiture is another thing that corrupt law enforcement agencies will use to pad their budgets and to take money from the American people. But civil asset forfeiture, rarely do you hear about it when it's happening to actual drug dealers. Because
this whole notion is what they tried to use to set up Papadopoulos. Remember that? They gave him the money and they were waiting for him, but luckily he didn't bring that money overseas with him, back home with him. But yeah, they were waiting. So how many different ways do they use these laws? Anytime there's more and more and more laws for something, it's just more and more ways that if someone is corrupt, they can use it against you. I mean, it's like Ayn Rand. Is that how you say it?
Ayn Rand. Yeah.
It's there's a great quote from her. It's something to the effect of like, the only way to control a society doesn't really have criminals. It just makes so many laws is where you can't do anything without breaking one of them. You just can lock it down with laws and regulations. And you can mess with it. But yeah, dude, all that war on drugs, man. Yeah, I'm sure there were some people who were really like trying to fight the war on drugs, but the top down nature of it was totally corrupt. And again, it was attack on the Fourth Amendment, legal search and procedure, all these different things. And then right at that same time when they were doing this stuff, and Bill Cooper used to talk about this a lot, and he'd say, what's happening right now is the war on drugs. And you got TV shows like Cops and Top Cops and all these things coming out, and people are like cheering on the cops. He goes, it's all psychological to get you to accept these sort of things where people are getting pulled over on TV and they're illegal searching them, and they find a bag of coke, and now this guy's going to jail forever. And you're like, you're cheering it. But again, there's a lot of stuff that came out of this war on drugs that is really crazy. And I'll tell you, this is a side thing, and who knows how on purpose this is, but sometimes I wonder the only way I didn't even know what a whole bunch of drugs were until I was in 5th grade. And the DARE people, remember DARE, DARE?
Oh, DARE. I'll talk about DARE when you're done. Let me go ahead.
It's just simple story. But I remember being in 5th grade. They call everyone into the lunchroom. It was all of my grade school. And they brought in DARE, and they start warning us about drugs. And I remember at the time they were like, and there's a new one called ice. And they tell them about this drug ice that's crazy. But I learned about cocaine. I never knew what marijuana was, and there was a whole bunch of them, and that's how I learned it. So at what point is this like almost a psychological operation to introduce ideas? And I think they do this a lot of times with talking to kids now. The big thing is like everything's like gay and transgender stuff, but we have to raise awareness. These kids don't even know about that stuff. But for me, that's drugs. That's how I learned about drugs, was through DARE.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, so DARE this started in like the late 70s, early 80s, something like that. And it was determined early on to be non-effective. Okay. Like, oh yes. They knew that it was not stopping stopping kids from using drugs, but they did know, because cops would tell the kids, like, even if it's your parents, tell us that your parents are using drugs. And, they were doing it specifically for intelligence gathering. And they were basically running like these off books, Fourth Amendment breaking operations. They were encouraging kids to turn in their parents, and they were obviously getting paid a ton of money and telling the schools that this was essentially saving their kids from becoming drug addicts, when it was doing exactly the opposite. It was basically teaching kids about drugs, and it really wasn't doing much to get them to stop it. And anyways, DARE is a huge con. It's just like, all of the NGO cons. Okay. All of these 501c3 operations. I mean, they may be nonprofits, But what a lot of people don't realize is that doesn't mean they don't make money. It just means that at the end of the year, they have to have a zero balance. They have to account for the use of all the money they bring in. So a lot of that money just ends up going to salaries, to operational costs. You know, I mean, for a nonprofit like the Clinton Foundation, damn near what was it? It's like 97% of it would go towards operational costs. Everybody was fantastically wealthy, and very little of it went to actually assisting people in with the missions that they were supposed to be getting that money for. So, yeah, it was a grift. The whole thing was a grift, and yeah, it's awful, absolutely awful. You know who else was involved? Oh, what's up, buddy? I almost sent you a video of a pug dancing the other day. Yeah.
You have a video of what?
It's a video of a pug dancing.
Nice.
And it just made me think of him. Oh my God, he's so sweet.
They're cool little dudes.
Yeah. He looks like he could sit in your lap all day. Chi-Chi doesn't really let me hold him much anymore. He likes laying next to me. Like, he's particular about the way that he positions himself. I think it's just because he's so old, but he's got we got a blanket, like his blanket. It's a soft blanket, and he will come and lay between Lisa and I. And he's got to scratch it up and move it around into the perfect position so that the blanket ends up laying around him perfectly like a womb. But yeah, I know Spark looks like he would live in your lap if you would let him.
Oh yeah. Oh, without that, he always does it to Abby. He sits in her lap and then he nuzzles in. For me, he does it for a minute, but me, he likes to sit to the side of me. He always puts his chin on you, which is kind of cute.
I love it. Muffin, so whenever we're laying in bed, Muffin will lay between my legs with her paws and her head laying on my stomach like this. And then she'll army crawl up my body until she's right here, and then she starts licking me. And it's because she wants me to go do something for her every single time.
And they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
She's
manipulative. Yeah.
I'm getting the Sparky lick right now. Okay.
Good boy, Sparky. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, so much of this, a lot of the pushback, I mean, whether it's, in cleaning up the federal government, firing federal employees, and ending the true trafficking of drugs, it's all because somebody on this end is getting rich because of it.
Oh yeah, dude. To all these phrases, so many of these programs. I saw a dude who was, you know what? Actually, I should get this link because I know I have it saved quick. But it was just a really funny thing talking about the government trying to make things cheaper. And anything they put their hands on, those are all the things that are crazy expensive. Here we go.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Let me
Oh, also, I forgot to say this earlier, but Freedom 76 dropped 5 memberships for people on
nice.
on Rumble earlier. So thank you if you're still out there, Freedom 76.
Yeah, this is some spot on shit right here.
So you got to see this.
You can get a plumber to your house in the middle of the night within an hour. But if you go to the ER, you could wait 6 hours. Why? The federal government never tried to make plumbing affordable and accessible. You can buy an 85-inch television for $1,000, but a dialysis machine costs $30,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make televisions affordable and accessible. You can get LASIK surgery done for $1,500 because it's not covered by Medicare or Medicaid because it's elective. But if you get a major surgery, it could cost you $100,000. Why? The federal government never tried to make LASIK affordable and accessible. Socialism is killing every industry it touches.
It's brilliant. That's amazing. I love it.
Perfect. Yeah. It is socialism. Well, when people who want the government to take over things, very socialistic, and it screws them because they're well, the government's paying for it, so the prices are going up. And so what we're seeing right now, what we've been seeing, going on 15, 20 years now with the Affordable Care Act, and just insurance is just crazy right now. Health insurance.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're I don't they haven't fixed it yet, so we're not going to have insurance next year. And the truth of the matter is, You know, I mean, with as much as I spend on insurance and as infrequently as I go to the doctor, like twice, like a year, you know, every 6 months I'll go to the doctor. And God, the other day, my doctor, he said, you got high blood pressure and your cholesterol's out of control. And I was like, well, what is it? And he was like, well, your bad cholesterol's like 200. And I was like, okay, well, you know what? I don't know if it's HDL or LDL, whichever, but he was like, you know, I'd highly recommend you go on statins. And I was like, listen. I said, first of all, I'm going to die eventually. All right. And in the meantime, I am comfortable with my cholesterol being that level because, first of all, I only eat clean, natural, you know, as much organic food as I can. I don't eat fast food. I'm not eating prepackaged food. I'm not eating junk. The stuff I'm putting in my body is like what God created. So if my cholesterol is that high, you know, I don't really care. Plus, I eat a lot of meat. I eat, you know, whole fats. I drink whole milk. And I said, but, you know, more than anything else, my cholesterol has always been 200. Like as long as it's been getting tested since my early 20s, when I ate a lot shittier than I do now, my cholesterol was always at 200. And I said, besides that, even if I believed that 200 for my cholesterol number was somehow bad, I said, everything that I know about statins makes me not comfortable with taking them. I said, there is no way that statin is going to differentiate between the cholesterol that makes up the neurons of my brain and the cholesterol that lives inside the arteries of my body. And he just looked at me and he was like, all right, cool.
He was not expecting that.
No, he was not expecting it at all. Not expecting it at all. And so he was just like, yeah, sure. You know, and I also know that, like, you know, he wants my cholesterol to be 100. That is a totally arbitrary number, right? It, you know, used to be that 200 was fine. Used to be 400 was fine. You know, I mean, like they just continue to get it. Wait, Lisa, you're saying my cholesterol is 300? What or what she's saying?
I don't know what any of this means. I need to go to the doctor. I'm the worst. I think I've had like a general checkup. I think I've had like 3 in the last 20 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, the doctor's like, you need to lose weight. I'm like, yeah, thanks. I own a mirror, bro.
Really?
Is there any like actual advice you want to give me?
Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, you know, I'm like, no big deal. I mean, like the targets for your cholesterol are made up by the makers of your statin drug. All right. And they lobby the medical industry. And yes, I may need to exercise more than I do, but you know, I am, you know, fairly physically active, but I don't run, I don't jog or anything like. But I've blown out both of my knees, like I can't run anymore. Okay, but like,
these are important.
These are very important. Yeah.
So do you feel it like if you're going up a ladder or anything like that? That's when I feel my knees the most, like when you're transferring that weight and pulling it up.
Every joint in my lower body cracks, like, you know, like when I'm getting up and when I'm moving. And, you know, if I know like my meniscus in both of my knees has been torn. It probably needed surgery, but I didn't have it. I didn't have insurance, so I didn't get the surgery. And, you know, I've done other things to like, you know, heal them back up over the years. You know, I walk around the block twice a day. Okay. If not 3 or more times a day.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's not like I just sit here behind my desk and, you know, I am doing other things. But yes, I understand that if I was actually actively exercising, I could probably be in even better shape. But, you know, I don't know. I don't have the time. I got too many other things going on.
It's so freaking time consuming, man. And it's funny, you see these old things and so everyone is so in shape. Like you get a video from like the 20s or something like that. Well, the 1920s. Now we're in the other 20s, right? But it's just I think there's a lot to the food. Everyone I know who's in shape they work out all the time. They have to do a lot more than what I think those people had to do. So I don't know if it's like all the sugar and everything and the steroids and food and stuff. But as someone who struggles with being overweight, man, it's freaking hard. Like, I don't know. There's just like, it's different. It has to be something different from back.
Yeah. Okay, so Lisa, I think you're thinking about my total cholesterol number because my total cholesterol is like over 300. Okay, but it's the bad cholesterol that's at like 200, maybe a little bit higher than 200. But either way, I don't care.
Looks like Zach.
I don't care.
She's making you an appointment right now, bro.
Kick dreaming, man. I need to. I've got weights. I mean, I would like to do some calisthenics and stuff, but I mean, I just, frankly, I'm not that interested in it, and I'm already, I'm already so busy with everything that we're doing. So, portable stepper under the desk, I've considered that. I would, yeah. I mean, they're a little pricey. Like, what I would want to get is one that does an incline so that it would, be a little bit more strenuous if I wanted it to be. But I already have the standing desk. So like, you've seen me do this before. I'll just
yeah.
There we go.
Abby just got one of those where it's like electronic, right? And it just can go up or down.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I like it.
They're totally worth it.
She's tall.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Lisa says we are both going to do better this coming year. Okay, honey. I keep telling you, like, we're going to have to do it together. Like, that's like obvious.
There was one time I never even knew standing desk were a thing. And do you remember when you were doing, I think it was Occam's Razor with Craig Mason for a little while, right? And then I'm just hanging out and watching, and then you guys both just start commenting on how you're standing, your standing desks. And then I started looking closer. I'm like, oh shit, they are standing. And then I was doing a show with Craig after that. I was like, are you been standing this whole time? He's like, oh yeah, I stand every show. I didn't even know standing desks were a thing. And I was like, holy shit, I think I've been doing a show with him for like a year and a half at that point.
That's so
and
funny.
That just blew my mind.
Oh, D Patriot does 3 miles a day, walk and run. I'm 57.
Wow.
Good for you. Good for you. You're a better man than I am. Yeah, I mean, my knees have gotten a lot better. It's taken years for them to get to this point. But yeah, I mean, I've got a TENS machine. I've got my my Rife machine, so I mean, like I've got a red light machine over here. I do all the things, I've got all the things. But
do you remember when we were at that thing in Dallas? Like Gart's, obviously proto Gart, but I forget what it's called. But that's the first time I ever hurt my knee in my entire life, and I never realized that whole time I was like, my whole right knee was just like shit. And that was the first time in my life where I was like, oh man, this is why people talk about knee problems, because it's like, everything is on your knees. Like when you're walking, every single step hurts. Everything. You're in bed, you can only lay a certain way. That's why man, I hope that's the worst I ever get. That knee is still sore to this day when I'm doing like strenuous work with it. Something, I don't know what I did to it, but that's also the weekend that I realized I had never taken aspirin before that weekend. And then my mom had come on that trip with me, and she was like, you really should just try an aspirin. It was like magic. And that's when I realized aspirin is magic. And from time to time, if I have pain, I will take an aspirin. But I've never been big on like pills or anything.
I mean, aspirin comes from like tree bark, so I mean, I'm okay with
magic tree bark.
Magic tree bark. That's right.
Today, I was like, fine, mom, I'll take an aspirin. I took 2 aspirin, and my freaking knee was good for like hours. I was like, what the hell? That was cool. Very eye opening.
People keep saying, just wait for back pain. Like, as long as I don't gain any more weight than where I'm at right here, like my back doesn't go out. But like That's inevitably, good. If I hit a certain weight, like my back is going to go out because I'm like pulling on my lower back and I just know it. I know it's going to happen, and Jane, I think it was.
Yeah, I get the back on and off. Yeah, it sucks.
I think it was Joan that said that I should stretch. I do stretch, I mean, like that's one of the reasons that I like having the standing desk is because I've got like a little I've got a stool under here, so I can like put my leg up on there and I can like covertly stretch my legs like while I'm here, and then I can lean over, do a little stretches there. But yeah, back pain is the worst. I used to have much worse back pain when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm notorious for on my back. I'll do like days of work And then the one day that like I'm like, all right, this is my off day, and I'll be like brushing my teeth, and I'm like, oh, there goes my back for 2 days. It's like weird. It's almost like it's waiting to do it. But yeah,
I've got weights, independence 4576, but I need to march in place. I just need to get the freaking treadmill for under the desk. And then I can just continue to move all day. I will beat Lisa in steps every day. She's always trying to beat me. She's like, what's your steps for the day? And I'm like, oh, it's midnight. It's already gone. I don't know. Yeah.
Damn reset.
All right. Do we have any more sponsors, Brad, or are we done for the night?
Yes. We have a couple sponsors here.
Okay.
You deserve more than sluggish mornings and blood sugar spikes. Discover the simple daily system that helped so many regain health without dieting or exercise routines. 2 easy-to-take daily drinks. A brain-boosting, appetite-suppressing morning blend that ushers in energy and clarity. A hearty, fiber-packed pre-meal drink that stabilizes blood sugar, aids digestion, and fights cravings. It's a gentle, science-backed path to improved metabolism, renewed vitality, and lasting weight control. Feeling better starts with this simple 2-step daily protocol.
I swear I was waiting for that to say, is your cholesterol high?
That's funny.
And then we also have, you guys might remember this by our friend Jerome.
They say confidence starts with smooth skin. And baby, Soft Disclosure Lotion delivers.
I swear by this stuff. Like, I kid you guys not. This is the first lotion I've ever had in my entire life that, like, I don't get ashy after I put it on. Any part of my body. Like, my hands are always dry. And my hands have not gotten ashy without, like, rinsing them through water and washing them with soap since I started putting Soft Disclosure on. Like, it is Black Man approved. I kid you not.
Black Man approved. You heard him. And let's be real. If it can handle his hands, it can handle anything.
Feet are like, they get so dry, like the heels of them, it'll just kind of like flake off. Like, but with Soft Disclosure, once you put it on, like it starts to absorb it.
Yeah, he went there. Don't worry, we won't show you his feet, but trust us, they're smoother too. Soft Disclosure Lotion is made with aloe, goat's milk, honey, and our exclusive oil blend that actually restores your skin barrier. Visit softdisclosure.com, use code Badlands, and get 15% off.
Boom. And then we also have some super chats tonight. We have
there was a couple. Oh, you see them. Okay, they are there. Okay, good.
We have Eden's Refuge says someone needs to remind Rand about his fiscal filibuster when he complained about grants to dose quail with coke to observe if they would become promiscuous. What the frick, dude? That sounds like a Festivus.
Yes, that was a Festivus thing. We went over that.
ZBM says, I'm 36, only been to the doctor once after having my first boy. Second boy I had in a birthing center. God bless.
Very cool.
Yeah. And it said, I think they said up here, oops, I accidentally lied. I did go to the doctor once for a parasite issue. They told me that I just had acid reflux and put me in omeprazole.
Omeprazole.
And made it way worse after that. I never went back. Yeah, dude, I think people have gotten a lot of red pills about the health industry these last 5 years. DePatrius says, great show. Love you both. Love you too.
Love you too, homie.
And ZBM also says, heck, more recently, I figured out I had parasites and how to get rid of them on tight budget. Thanks to your show, Zach. Very cool.
Oh, very cool. I'm glad that it helped. And I always love it when people say they actually learned something from my show.
Yeah. And this is love this show. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Then Chonky says, moved to St. Pete from Kentucky. Having so much fun riding my bike 5-10 miles a day.
Oh, sweet, dude.
Bikes are fun.
Yeah, I've got a mountain bike. I mean, the thing is that, like, back in Michigan, there's a lot of bike trails, and there's also a lot of change in elevation, but everything is so flat here in Florida. I just got bored.
Yeah,
I should just get my bike out. I should be riding my bike when it gets cool like this, because you're not going to die in the oppressive heat like you will earlier in the year. All right, guys, you got me. I'm going to start exercising this weekend. So Monday when I come back, I will be totally wasted. Like, oh, God, I can hardly move. But we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
That's how I've been feeling before shows. We were putting the roof rafters. Rafters? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's rafters on the shed today. Or really, my father-in-law we were handing them up. We had them all pre-cut and they're just holding it in place while he was working the nail gun. Because I got a nail gun. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they're pretty straightforward. But so he was showing me how to use it a little, but then he was just kind of like going nuts with it. So it was cool. But
I've got a framing nail gun, dude. I love that stuff.
Yeah, dude. It's man. I was screwing most of it together. And then he was just like, "Are you crazy?"
Yeah, dude, you just
30 times as long.
All right. We also have a couple of gold pills from Filter Dog 1 over on Pilled. First, he says, police in Australia are waiting on the treasured egg thief. He swallowed it to exit. Oh, my God. And then he actually gave us a tweet discussing this. I guess that somebody stole a Fabergé egg, swallowed it, and now the police are waiting for it to come out the other end.
Police in New Zealand are keeping a close eye on a prisoner who allegedly swallowed that. A piece of jewelry to smuggle it out of the store. This is the Fabergé egg pendant the 32-year-old is accused of eating. Officials say so far the evidence has not, shall we say, resurfaced. Jewelers say the suspected booty, if you will, is a limited edition gold egg decorated with 183 diamonds, 2 sapphires as well. It was inspired by the James Bond film Octopussy and is worth about $19,000. Police in New
Oh my God. Hey.
Well,
I mean, at least it wasn't something that was going to break open and kill him, right? You know?
Oh yeah, that's always scary, man. When they'll swallow those bags of drugs, or they'll put them up there, like whatever.
George Floyd.
Yeah, George Floyd. You're right.
Yeah. All right, you guys are awesome. We love you. Brad and I are both going to start exercising. I promise. All right. Brad, we'll call each other on FaceTime and we'll commiserate the fact that we're forcing ourselves to do physical activity. How's that?
I like it. I like it.
All right, cool.
Won't let you guys down.
All right.
And Abby's watching.
Abby shows
We've
up.
been having the same conversation, so it's definitely
That's
gonna
great.
happen whether I want to or not.
That's awesome. All right, you guys, where should we send you? Oh, that's right. We're going to have to send you over to DPH. Let me pull this
Actually,
up.
I was going to raid Newsmax.
That's funny. Okay, hold on. I'm getting DPH up here for you. /raid.
I think we need unique raids.
Here we go.
This is what I heard.
Well, but we only need 5 for the entire month, so we can afford to send them over to DPH tonight.
Okay, nice. Well, send our love to DPH.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you. Love you, and we will see you tomorrow. I'll be live at 5 if you want to join me on my channel.
Nice. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.